Just like, I'm always afraid of that time when like I would start and like I didn't hit a button, and hasn't happened yet, and I don't plan on it happening.
I've sleepless nights sometimes thinking about what could go wrong in that scenario.
I can imagine.
Yeah, you fly all the way to Florida and to do an interview with James Stewart, and it's like, oh shoot, did I hit record? Because I only got one chance at this, but luckily I've never had anything like that happen. So
yeah, little higher stakes than speed and grease here. So.
No, hey, it matters though. It doesn't matter like the scale of it. It's a bummer when you start something you don't hit record. So yeah.
Well, no, man, I appreciate you coming out and doing this. I know had a slight delay from our original scheduling, but well, I'm sure we'll talk about that, and that's all well and good. But
yeah, well, it's funny because I was like, well, let's wait till after this race because maybe I'll have some more to talk about. And things took a turn for the worse. And a few months later, here we are. So glad we could make it happen. I was super excited when you hit me up to come do this. And it's always fun to, especially local people putting content out there. Like I always want to support it. And I was super pumped when you sent me that DM, and here we are.
Yeah. I know you responded real fast to me, and I was super pumped in return. And I know you've been involved in some awesome things from obviously coming from the family of Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes, having your own, lukeparmeterproductions, working with Supercross, and I got a million questions on how some of that stuff looks kind of behind the scenes. So definitely super excited to kind of talk about some of that. And like I said, from the local and from the same hometown. And I guess really kind of for you, growing up in Wisconsin Rapids area, what did childhood look like for you, and what did you kind of start out doing? And
well, grew up around dirt bikes, number one, and BMX bikes too. I think that was my first jump into racing was BMX when I was 5, and enjoyed that quite a bit. And I think that was pretty vital into developing your skill set on dirt bikes. You learn how to be smooth and carry momentum. So did that very early on, and then started racing dirt bikes, I think, when I was 6 or 7, and my Honda Z50. So we were into motorcycle hill climbing, which is a very niche, very unique sport. And, my mom and dad, my aunts, uncles, cousins, my sister, we all did it growing up. And come to find out, it was like, man, this is a really odd sport we're into. I just thought it was normal. But it is. It's not. Motocross is obviously very popular in other forms of racing, but hill climbing was. I tell people when I was older, like, what you do? What? So, I always loved it. Basically, it's race up a hill as fast as you can. Racing the clock around here, Minnesota, Wisconsin. You make it over the hill. It's not a matter of if you can get over it, it's how fast you can get over it. So,
sure.
So it comes down to, hundredths, thousandths of a second sometime. And so you try to find ways to just be as fast as humanly possible. And I think that's what really makes the sport unique. And so it's a lot of skill, but then bike setup and gearing and all this stuff that goes into it, and taking notes and, okay, well, how was the hill last year? What gearing did we run? What tire? Length of our extensions, and just all these things that come into it. So you really got to do your homework. Luckily, my dad was a motorhead, so had a ton of knowledge to lean into from that. And my mechanical skills were never too great. And so I tried to focus more on the riding side of it.
Sure.
And it worked out pretty good, but wish I knew a little more about how everything operates. But so I did that from 5 or 6 years old till I would say middle school, 7th, 8th grade. Kind of those sports, stick and ball sports, kind of took over. And
okay. I was going to ask if you gotten anything else, or if it was just racing from the start.
It was. I mean, I always enjoyed other sports too, but once you kind of get to like 7th, 8th grade, it's like, you got to put. There's just so much time you got to put with practices and all this stuff. So the dirt biking stuff kind of got pushed away, and I think we just kind of needed a break. I did pretty well with racing when I was younger, when at that age, but I had never won a national championship. And I lost in 1999 in Red Wing, Minnesota by 0.05 of a second, and it just bothered me so much. And
Yeah,
so
when it's that close, I can imagine.
yeah, I mean that's so quick when you think about that. I thought I had won, but this kid from Pennsylvania showed up and just beat me, and never really got over that when I stopped racing. I was always in the back of my mind, even through high school. It's like, man, I wish I would have won. I could have had the number one plate, and I think that's kind of why I got back into it too.
Okay.
So go through high school, do all the traditional sports, and it was fun, whatever. But at the same time too, in high school, I don't know, this was like 02 to 06, basically, following Supercross. I always enjoyed watching Supercross and Jeremy McGrath and all this stuff, but at this time, James Stewart's coming up to the 450 class. Carmichael's dominating. Pastrana's showing up here and there.
Sure, yeah,
so
yeah, right.
Just got really into watching Supercross and motocross. So was always just like, man, this sport is so cool. These athletes are amazing. I just want to be involved with this somehow. I don't know how, but it wouldn't be cool to be involved with this industry somehow. So as I was getting more into watching the racing, senior year after high school, we were kind of looking at old photos. I think it was at Christmas time actually. And just a bunch of dirt bike photos we were looking at. And I was like, man, we should get back into racing. And my dad was like, if you want to, let's do it. And my stepbrothers, Andy and Lucas, were into it now too. And they had never raced before. So we got them into racing. So yeah, a few months later, we buy some dirt bikes and started racing. I think this was 07. And so now I'm on, a 250 and I'm in like the bigger classes now. So,
yeah.
So it was quite a jump from where I left off when I was a kid, basically. And I thought maybe it'd take me a year, but I would probably win a national, fairly quickly. Well, I didn't win a single race. I didn't win anything in 07, 08, 09, and it was like a wake-up call. I was so far behind the eight ball, and all these other guys kept racing this whole time, and I took this big break, and it was tough, jumping back in, and there's so many talented guys racing against that. It was mentally tough, so I had to really figure out how to get back into just that top. I just want to get a podium basically, and that was even tough. So yeah, I had to figure out what to do from there. And the bikes were always good, but I just had to figure out, okay, I got to practice more than these guys somehow. Well, up here, it's we just got 6 inches of snow last night. We're not riding in the winter. We're all kind of from April till October we can ride. It's you can't really get too big of an advantage, practice wise. So luckily, this place called the Amsoil Sandbox Arena was just built over in New Richmond, Wisconsin. I was going to school in Menominee at UW-Stout.
Okay.
So about an hour from where I was, indoor motocross facility just got built. So I'm like, well, this is it. I got to start riding here, and I'm going to do whatever I can to just ride here, put in as many laps as I can. So when it comes springtime, I'm ready to go.
Now when you're like training and practicing riding for hill climb, what is that? Are you going to a hill, or are you just riding like a kind of a motocross type track just to, get reps? And
that's a good question, because it is, especially in rapids, it's so flat. There's no hills basically.
Right.
So training is riding motocross basically.
Okay.
Or woods. Just seat time really is the key. And but if you can ride motocross, you can pretty much ride anything in my mind.
Okay.
So got to pretty good at ripping around the Sandbox Arena. It was kind of like an arena cross track, a very tamed down Supercross track almost, but
okay.
Was just so dialed in, and that really pushed me to the next level. And I remember 2010, the first race of the year in May, just came out swinging, and I think I won 3 classes that day, and I hadn't won a single race yet until that moment. And from that point forward, I was like, okay, I put in the work. I belong up here, and I believe I should be winning now. So from that day forward, I just went on a tear. It was so cool to finally winning regularly and
just start clicking.
Yeah, just start clicking, and so from that point forward, it was just a whole different ball game, and I just trained more than everybody. You know, it was so simple, but and just more experience, and like I said, the confidence. We're getting the bikes even more dialed in every time too. But man, it felt so good, and I just tell people too. It's like my son. I tell my daughter. Whether it's basketball, football, softball, whatever, like if you want to be better than the next guy, you got to put in more time than them. And it's just it's so simple. Like, that's it. Just train more than them. You're going to do better, especially when you're that young. You can get so much better than everybody by just practicing a little bit each day. Yeah. And I was 20 years old or whatever when this finally started clicking, but so I'm trying to instill that in my kids as early as I can. And it's, some people get it, some people don't. And it's not always about winning, but at that point in my life, it was all about winning.
Right. Yeah. That's what you're there for. Yeah. Yeah. No, you said, it's a simple recipe, but executing it's hard for sure.
Yeah. And, that's what I love about sports and competition is you learn how to win, you learn how to lose, how to be gracious in victory, how to be humble, but then you apply this to whatever it is else you're doing in life, because you're going to get your teeth kicked in at your job. You're going to have days where it sucks, Well, I was so used to losing that, sometimes you have these bad days. It's like, well, you just got to deal with it, move on, get it out of your head. And that's why I just love sports and competing, because there's so many life lessons in this, whatever it is you're doing, whatever sport, whatever race it is. So I'm all about it. And I just take those life lessons into whatever else you're doing next and learn from it. Right. Yeah.
Well, exactly. I mean, like anybody says in life, you learn a lot more when you lose than when you win sometimes. And you adjust and keep learning and applying it.
Yeah. 100%. So 2010, still haven't won a national yet. Just close every year. I think at nationals in 2010, I was leading the first day and went to bed that night. And I was like, gosh, I hope my time's, because you do 2 runs for each class, and you just take your fast time. And at nationals, you do 1 run Saturday and then your second run on Sunday. And so you could be leading the first day, but it might not matter because someone could go faster the next day, and, it doesn't matter. So I remember going to bed that night just thinking, I hope no one beats my time. And sure enough, someone goes and beats my time. And I end up going last because I was the fastest guy from the day before. But I was so mentally cooked, when that guy beat my time, because I was like, oh no, like I'm not going to be able to go faster. So even at that point, learning how to, you've had a taste of success, but what are you going to do when someone pushes you even farther? Like I was just mentally beat, in 2010. So next year, and end up losing that national by 500ths of a second.
Okay. That was the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 times I've lost nationals by that much. And man, that was tough, but just like, okay, we're not quite there yet. We still got to get better. So another year of training at the Sandbox that winter, go to nationals in 2011. Finally, everything clicked, and ended up winning 3 classes and was ready for it, I would say. Just everything I had been through, when not winning, being so close to winning a few races. Now it was like, okay, we're not leaving Ohio without a national championship. And just everything happened to work out that day. And after I won the first class, I'm like, I'm in a good position to keep going here. So it was like, don't stop now. Let's keep I was going to say foot on the gas, but let's keep the throttle twisted. And just everything worked out that day. And it was awesome. It was just such a cool way to, it was we did race one more year, but I was kind of like, if I win, I think I'll be done. 'Cause I was getting pulled in directions with my job and stuff, which we can talk about too. But just the way that all went down was amazing. And just like I said, the lesson there was just put in the work, believe in yourself, be confident, and good things are going to happen. And it took a while, but man, it felt good to kind of get
Oh yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, those close losses. Yeah, it's tough to sit on that over the winter and into the next year. And
Yeah, 100%. And we'd film everything, and I'd watch all the rides and races throughout the winter, and you have so much time to think about it.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's a long winter. Thinking about, oh man, 500ths of a second. Should I have taken a pee before I went up the hill? Maybe I would have been lighter, because every little thing adds up. And, it's just a what if game when you're that close. So,
yeah. And speaking of being lighter, like when it comes to hill climb, like, what is it that you're trying to, obviously, you have like the gearing and stuff like that, but what are some of the more like, like minute technical things that you're trying to really dial in on to have your, bike better than the other person?
I'd say a big part, like number one, is on a hill climb bike, you extend the back wheel so you don't wheelie up the hill, right?
Okay,
so you have extensions, so your back tire is way far back, but you can't go too far back because then you lose traction and your bike kind of reacts differently too. So you're always trying to find like the shortest wheelbase possible. So getting that right away is a big thing. I would say gearing is probably a big thing too. We're always changing sprockets on the back, sometimes the front sprocket too. So I would say between gearing, extension length, tire pressures, all those things add up. And we took notes every race. What worked this year? Okay, we were on this gearing, and we had this huge book of just data. And I don't know if everyone does that or not, but we had this book and this Bible of information from every race, and I think that was a huge thing too. And I remember my dad telling me one time, I'll just be going down the interstate and I'll see a hill, and I could be like, 1344 if I was on my bike. That'd be my gearing there. So you really start to think about things like that. And another thing too, a lot of guys didn't shift. They would just stay in second gear the whole way up, which works. But I was always big on clicking third, starting in second, and then maybe over a jump I'll click third if I'm really cooking. So I think that was a big thing that I think not a lot of people were even considering. So So then you're faster out of the start, and then you might top out. So then click third, and now you're really cooking. So yeah, just things like that were the big things I would say. And
now being able to go and click third, was that, is that more of like a lack of comfortability for people, and to that, the reason why they wouldn't do that?
I would think that'd be for quite a few people. Yeah. Cause it is, you might lose some time clicking a gear too. Like that little split second of hesitation might deter people as well. But if you're used to doing that on a motocross track, it's no big deal. So again,
sure.
If the more seat time, it's like, oh, whatever, I'll click here and I'll, in the air or whatever. So by the time I land, it's pulling. So yeah, I think that was quite a bit of advantage too. And some guys, watching them, they would just be very stiff on the bike. They might just sit the whole time. And I was always big on like moving around the bike and standing up over certain jumps and just trying to ride it like a motocross bike and not be so, all right, we're just going to pin it and hope this works. So especially at like Syracuse and Wisconsin Rapids, they had two like breakers, we'll call them, at the very bottom. And you watch some of the guys and they would just sit over every jump. And it's like, no, like I would stand up over those two, and just, there's things you pick up on when you're really tuned into those things. And that's another thing I love about racing, and I'm sure you can relate, is when you get so dialed in and it's just like you're on like the very leading edge of like the spear, and it just everything's in tune. You feel every little pebble and every little thing. Just when you're dialed in like that, I love that. I love that feeling, even when I'm mountain biking too. By the end of summer, I'm, everything's dialed in. I know where my heart rate is. I know traction. It's just every little thing.
Just in that flow state. Yeah.
And it's like, you can't maintain that all the time, because you almost have to like peak at a certain time of the year. Right. And I think that's what's cool about, again, with competing. You just get into the flow state, and that's what it takes sometimes to be successful.
Yeah. So then once you won the national title, were you done after that, or?
I think mentally I was, and we did one more year, and we did even less races, but it was like, I don't know if I have much to prove, I guess. So I really wasn't looking too far past that next year. And then while all this is happening, while we're going to the races, I'm going to school at Stout for multimedia design.
Okay.
And kind of learning how to build websites and make graphics and some video stuff here and there. And I'm bringing my camera to the races because I was always into kind of just, I don't know, recording videos, whether it was stupid skateboarding stuff we were doing, 7th, 8th grade, my friends, just
sure.
We were always recording stuff and trying to make videos or whatever. And I was always like, this is kind of fun, but I never really got into it until I went to college. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I found out about this multimedia program at Stout, and I just kind of fell in love with that world. And whether it was drawing or, everything multimedia, I didn't even know what the program was all about, but it was just like a general overview of everything media. And this was, right when YouTube's getting more popular and online videos becoming more of a thing. So I was able to, I built a website and I was able to make videos and put it on there. And that was a big deal back then. So I started this website called LP Motocross. So I'd go to the races. When I wasn't racing, I'd get my camera out, I'd film, I'd make an edit, put it out on the website. And little by little, I had this following, and just started getting my name out there. Kind of started with all the racers because they wanted to, see the rides and stuff. And
right.
And but then I started going to more and more events, not even races that I was going to, but like motocross events and freestyle events and snowmobile stuff. Whatever it was, I was just like, I just want to create content before that was even a thing. So I just started building my brand. And so 2011, I get a call from Feld Motorsports, and I was like, this name sounds familiar. Who is this? And they're the promoters of Supercross, Arena Cross, Monster Jam, huge company, Disney on Ice. They're massive.
Okay, no kidding, yeah.
Yeah, but they own Supercross. I'm like, how the hell did they get a hold of me? But it was because I just was creating all this content, and they stumbled upon one of my videos, and there was a job opening at Arena Cross, and I never really followed Arena Cross too much. And for people who don't know, Arena Cross is like kind of the minor leagues to Supercross. So it's racing, basically Supercross, but inside in a smaller arena. And they said, hey, we have a job opening here. We'd love for you to try this out. And what's cool about it is at the end of the Arena Cross season, you could go help out our guy at Supercross because that season runs longer. And I was like, dude, that would be insane to go film at Supercross because no one, especially around that time, was able to bring a video camera into a Supercross race. It was so locked down, and and I was just a huge Supercross fan, so I was like, holy my God, it's right there. So before the Arena Cross season started, they said, hey, why don't you come out to the Monster Energy Cup in Vegas? We'll see how you like it, throw you to the wolves basically and see if you can handle it. And so I fly out. They called me on like Tuesday, I want to say. The race was Saturday, so
so that quick.
And they're like, we'll get you a flight out tomorrow, and you can come out there and basically, we'll see what you can do. So I remember telling my parents, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to Vegas tomorrow. Like, what? Because I had just graduated, and I'm back at home trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with my life. And they're like, okay, sure. Where are you going? The Monster Cup? It was the first year of the event, just this big one-off race. And fly out there, and everyone's out there. Dungy, Villapoto, McGrath, and Carmichael were involved with the race too. So I got to film some stuff with them, and man, it was so cool. And then I find out that the guy that was doing this same job at Supercross had left to go to GoPro. So he got a job offer at GoPro when it was early on at GoPro. So I was like, why would he leave Supercross? Well, he got a pretty good opportunity there. So I find out, they actually need a guy for Supercross too. And so I remember telling the Supercross boss, I was like, hey, I'm in. Like, because I almost didn't even want to do Arena Cross. I was like, just sign me up for Supercross. And I remember flying home from Vegas, and on the flight home, I had all this footage I shot. I made this edit and just put everything I could into it. Sent it to the Feld guys like the next day, the next morning, and they were pumped on it. They're like, "This is awesome," and I think maybe that sealed the deal. They're like, "Hey, we want to bring you in for Supercross. We start now, basically." So I did a few arena crosses in like the fall, and then Supercross started. But it was even before the season started. I went to James Stewart's house, Dungy's, Villapoto's, just dream job status. I mean, I could not.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So I just could not believe I just landed this gig with Supercross. I didn't even know this job existed, but it just all worked out. So that was part of the reason why I didn't do much more racing after that, because I was just landed this dream job basically.
Right.
And so my job with Supercross was to do the opening ceremony videos. So imagine the top 10 riders, they all get introduced and they all have a short video that plays. And some of them are just quick, but some of them are like more personalized and kind of, wherever they're from. Like Kevin Windham, we always did like just like a Southern theme. He lived on a bunch of like a farm basically. So we do something cool for him, that way. Or, Eli Tomac, this is probably the best one we ever did, but we had he's a big hunter. So
okay,
we had him bring his bow and arrow in basically to the stadium one night, and we got all of his competitors' number plates, and we had them like throw them all in a pit and dump gas on it, and then we had him shoot a flaming arrow into the pit and blow it all up. And we had the pyro guys that do all the pyro and fireworks involved with it, and it was this crazy video that we ended up doing with him. And like they would probably never go for that today. Like you brought in like a weapon to the stadium, but they let us do it. So
and then is that you having to come up with that idea, or is it someone else kind of coming up? Okay,
It was me. It was my coworker Shay, and I mean whoever had a good idea. They're like, hey, because that was honestly the toughest part, was coming up with some of these ideas.
Sure,
and this was before ChatGPT. You could probably come up with 100 ideas now in an instant, but it was coming up with ideas and being able to execute them. Because some people would come up with ideas like, well, we're not going to be able to, have 5 limos show up and whatever idea they come up with. But that was a big part of the job too, is, okay, we have an idea, but can we actually make it happen? So, and with the scheduling, and we only have so much time with the riders or whatever. So there was a lot going into it, a lot of logistics, and, just figuring out how to make stuff happen. But dream job for sure. And, the first year, I mean, I went to 16 of the 17 races. It was, going from zero. Like it was just got to travel the country, meet everyone in the industry. I could not believe it. And, man, it was so cool. And it was still like, the stakes were very high, right? I could feel the pressure, and, I had some big shoes to fill. And, I think I struggled a little the first year because these skits that we were doing, like it wasn't my thing, I guess. So once I kind of found my, style, like I found out I was really into making cinematic trailer, epic hero shots, and just like larger than life videos and commercials and like trailer style videos. So once I kind of figured that out, I think it really started to click. And, but the first year it struggled, and then it's just tough because the riders don't know you. But once you develop those relationships and they see you a bunch of times and you go to their house, it's like, okay, what's up, Luke? Like
everyone's just more relaxed. Everything just works a little better. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was tough, but I mean, all the glitz and glamour of that job, there was still a lot of pressure. And, but at the end of the day, he was working with Supercross. So it was amazing. So
what did race day, like a race day look like?
Well, it would start usually like Wednesday, Thursday. I'd fly in. There was always a press day, so they'd invite certain teams to do press. And so you'd always have some factory guys there. Some of the big dogs were there. So I would usually try to do some kind of filming with them. or update the videos for that week. So we'd always have like this initial video that would play, and that would be synced up with fireworks and lasers and pyro, and we would customize it for each city we were in. So we might have to go and get pickup shots of the city or certain monuments or whatever around the stadium, just to make it feel like a special video for that that event.
Right.
So spend Thursday or Friday doing that, updating all the videos. Sometimes working with the riders on a new video, and then race day Saturday. Yeah, it was just getting all the videos finalized, sent up to the show control, and it's basically just our guy would have a laptop, he'd plug it in to the Jumbotron, and there's the videos. So it was pretty cool to see all that all worked and stuff. And the guy before me was amazing, but it sounded like he was not always good with deadlines. So they always drilled into my head, like, get these videos done Friday so you don't have to worry about it. So if I could get everything done Friday, then my Saturday was a lot easier. And so, yeah, I mean, I would just film stuff throughout the day, film practice, try to get those hero shots of the guys walking in the tunnel. And a lot of the stuff that I think separated me it wasn't always about filming the racing. It was everything else. And just finding like relatable, just things that you don't have to be a race fan to appreciate, I would say. So just trying to make a common person, if they saw this footage, they'd be like, oh, this is cool. I can relate to that. So I was always trying to find those moments and those angles or whatever it was. I loved going up in the stands to film from that perspective rather than just be on the floor. And so I was always just trying to, make it different from what everyone else is getting. So yeah, just filming the practice and qualifying throughout the day. And then I always got so nervous when the lights went down and then the music would start and my videos would play. And it was such a cool feeling, but there's just always like butterflies because like that is my video and 50,000 people are watching it right now. The riders are all there. And
it's leading up to the suspense of everything. And
Yeah. So what a cool feeling though, to just have, like I said, 50,000 people solely focused on this video that you just made, and they're cheering, and then you got fireworks going off and lasers, and it like unbelievable. I mean, especially going to Dallas, that stadium in Arlington, biggest Jumbotron in the world at the time, I think.
Okay.
And, there's the video that I just made, and it's on this giant screen, and it was awesome. Like that feeling, I'll never forget, the first few times and every time, honestly. But, and I was always nervous that maybe I forget to change the voiceover to like, St. Louis, are you ready? And we're in like New York or something. Oh yeah. Luckily I never did that, but it was always like until those played, until it was done, I was like, okay, I can breathe a little bit.
Like, especially at the start, did you ever have something where it was like you're getting done in like the nick of time and it's like there's stuff you didn't get the chance to go back over and watch, and then it's click and get it up there? There
was a few last minute ones, but I don't think I ever went too close to the deadline. And,
sure.
And honestly, I think back now, I probably could have pushed a little more creative stuff early on, but I was just so worried about getting them in and done that
I
was like, just get the video done, and that's good enough. So I never really got too close. But yeah, there was some times where maybe an hour out, somebody got hurt, and so now they're not in the opening ceremonies, and you'd have to like have another video ready to go. So
sure,
because the way we had it, we had that first main video that I talked about, and then the first rider that is introduced, like the 10th place guy, he was attached to that video file. And sometimes, that guy would get hurt throughout at the last practice, or he got sick, and it's like, hey, we can't introduce him because he's not here. So there was a few times where we had to go in and swap him out and deliver the file up in the office there. And never a good thing. So, but yeah, luckily deadlines weren't too big of a deal for me. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I know just on Supercross in general. I've been to one Supercross race. It was in Minneapolis at the new stadium, And I had followed Supercross. I don't catch every race, but I love watching it. And when I was there live in person, I thought they did. If I was someone coming to watch that and I had never been to a Supercross race before, they do an amazing job at explaining the next race, what's coming up, who, where they got to finish, all of that stuff, who they're taking from this race to go to the big show. They do such a great job of explaining everything. Like someone who's not a fan could just show up and they could follow along. I thought it was such a great program.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we started doing those types of videos maybe it was my second year. I think we called it, I don't know if it was Science of Supercross, but we filmed it with Diana Dahlgren, Miss Supercross. And maybe it changed by the time you were there, but yeah, it was like, here's the next class coming up, and here's how the format works. And so those were some of the videos I was making too.
Okay.
So it started to expand, not just in those opening ceremony videos, but throughout the whole night show, and then commercials and other stuff too, TV shows. But yeah, that's the thing. Supercross, it's so kind of chaotic at times, and if you don't know the format, it's kind of tough to follow. So we were always trying to think of ways to just, okay, let's boil it down. What's the point of this race we're watching? Okay, the top 4 guys move on to the main event. Perfect. We got to get that message out there. And so it was cool to, just make those filler videos, and how can we make this interesting? And so there was a lot that went into the production side of a race, and nowadays, especially, like, video is even more integrated into the night show. So yeah, it just kept getting more and more evolved as kind of the technology allowed for it too.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So
yeah. Did you have, on race day, what was the favorite part of race day? Was it getting to watch that video get played, or, was there anything else that was kind of a favorite part?
Yeah, I would say, watching the videos, especially like 2015 and beyond, because we just had some really cool videos that I just love to watch. And
sure.
And so opening ceremonies was always amazing. Just like the visuals of those two, like the filming of opening ceremonies was so amazing, because imagine the stadium's dark, the spotlight's on the rider, let's say, and they're hitting maybe some jumps, and the crowd's going crazy. There's just the glow of the fireworks or the stadium lights. And so just really cool opportunities to film epic stuff, really.
Yeah.
For opening ceremonies. But I mean, the main events were crazy too. I mean, especially at the 450s. I mean, imagine there's 20 guys on the start, and this is something when you go to a bunch of races that I just started noticing, but crowd's going crazy, gate drops, 20 guys take off the line, and then they all let off to hit that first corner. And there's like this silence.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
This anticipation in that moment when they all let off and they're making the corner, and it's just like, who's emerging out front, or who went down. So that moment was always really cool in person, and trying to later put those in like commercials and trailers and stuff, trying to capture that hype. Because I want to translate this feeling to a video somehow. So yeah, 450 main event, you can't beat it. And always trying to figure out the best angle for like the finish line jump, and especially where the pyro was going to shoot up. Like, can I get maybe a shot of the pyro going up on the side with the rider, throwing a whip over the last finish line jump? So just things like that make it really, you got to figure out how to make it different each week too. You don't want to just, stand at the side and get that shot. You got to figure out ways to make it different for everyone. So yeah. Did
you ever have any close encounters with any bikes on the track?
Just one time, luckily. I mean, I don't know how I didn't have more, thank God.
Because I imagine your head's got to be on a swivel when you're down there.
Yeah, it is nuts. I mean, I don't know if I'd be comfortable down there anymore. But just one time in Indianapolis, and that track gets so rutted and rough that there's bikes flying everywhere and guys are just crashing all over the place. But yeah, I was just along the long sideline, we'll call it, and I saw a bike kind of get off axis and land and it started like skidding towards me, and I kind of jumped over it. And there was actually a video of it I found because I would get all the TV footage, and I remember seeing the footage of it, and for as intense as it felt, it didn't look too bad on video. But when the 240-pound bikes coming at you, it's a little sketchy. So yeah, there's I knew a few guys that did get hit by bikes and had to go to the hospital and stuff. So it happens, but they're actually there's they give you a track map, and they have like green areas and red areas.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of red areas where you can't go, like behind berms, landings of triples. So things like that, they try to keep you about as safe as you can, relatively speaking. But yeah, never injured, I guess, by a moving bike. So that's good.
Yeah. Now, did you ever have, a favorite track that you just really loved going to? I know, and actually I was wrong. I've been to 2 Supercross races. I think it must've been like 2018 or somewhere around there. I went to, down to Daytona. Man, that was so cool we had a really close, spot where we could be on the bleachers, but then just to go and like stand on like the front stretch banking of Daytona and just watch dirt bikes in the infield. I'm like, that was awesome.
Yeah. World Center of Racing.
Yeah.
So Daytona was never on the schedule for us. That's why I said 16 to 17 earlier.
Okay.
That was promoted by like Daytona basically. So that was our off week. So I had only been there after I left Feld. I was there for Red Bull, and I finally got to go to Daytona. So, so I love going there. Daytona was awesome. Like bucket list place for sure. I always loved Indianapolis, honestly. I don't know why. Just city was awesome. And we go to San Diego, we go to, Anaheim. It's like, why is Indianapolis? I don't know. Something about it. It was always St. Patty's Day weekend. And just loved going there. I don't know. We had some good times there. Anaheim was always awesome. Start of the year. But I would say the best stadium was a toss-up between Arlington and Minneapolis.
Okay.
And Minneapolis was always special to me because that's where I grew up going there in the 90s at the Metrodome. And then we did one race there in 2013 at the Metrodome, and then they started the new stadium after that. So, Minneapolis always has a special place in my heart for sure. Yeah,
nice and close to home. Mm-hmm. Now to kick back a little bit farther, going back talking about like when you first started, filming on, you and your buddies' skateboards or whatever, when you were doing that, did you feel like, hey, I got a love and a passion for this? I think there's something here, or, like as you're, getting older and going to school, like when did you kind of figure out like, hey, I think this is what I want to do? Yeah, I think it was, watching a lot of skateboard videos. I was just picking up on things like videos that you could buy on VHS. I was just picking up on things they were doing, like adding movement to the scene and things like that. So then I would try to do that on my own, and it was like, okay, that kind of works. So I feel like I always tried to just do something special in a video just to give it like my touch. And it didn't always work out, but you have to get so many reps in. I always say, like, you got to make the mistakes when you're young. And by mistakes, I just mean, well, that didn't work. Especially filming, like there's just lighting and there's so many things you got to get figured out before your videos actually look good. And I feel like since I started so early, I was able to get some of those mistakes out of the way. So by the time Feld hired me, I was like, okay, well, I've got a pretty good base of knowledge now. I kind of know what I'm doing. But I think it was just when I was in college and I just started putting in reps, especially going to the Sandbox arena. I had a deal worked out with them where I would keep my bike there, and they let me ride for free if I made videos for them. And that was a dream deal for me. Perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
College kid, yeah.
Yeah, because and honestly, it was expensive to ride there and keep your bike there because I didn't have a garage or anything to keep my bike when I was going to school. And now I could make content for my website. So I was like, well, it's a win-win for me. And but I would film at their winter race series every week for a few months, and figuring out how to make it different from the previous week, even though it's the same guys racing, same track. How do I make this unique? So I think that really forced me to really get creative and just going to school for design. Like the program wasn't really about video production, but learning about color and design principles and just everything that applies to video. I think that was just the perfect storm. And so I think, by the time I was like 19 or 20, I started taking it a little more seriously. And I was like, okay, these videos are actually, they're, I don't know, pretty good, I guess, And I was always trying to get my, my then girlfriend at the time, my wife, to like watch the videos and, hey, what do you think of this? And she wasn't into dirt bikes or anything. So I was just trying to make her, think they're interesting. So I think that kind of goes back to, well, she doesn't care about the dirt bikes, but if I film this other stuff, maybe she'll be more into it. So kind of apply that to,
Sure.
any project I'm filming. I think maybe that's kind of what started to separate me or just, stand out from everybody, I would say.
Okay. Gotcha. Now, as you spent the time with Supercross, when did you decide to be done with Supercross? And then did you kind of know exactly, hey, I'm going to have this, Luke Parmeter Productions and carry on into that? Did you kind of have that going before Supercross ended?
Yeah. So that's a good question. So let's say I started Supercross in 2011. By 2016, Feld had offered me basically to do a TV show, like a behind-the-scenes documentary.
Okay.
4 episodes on Fox Sports 1. Dream job, another dream job, because I was almost kind of getting over doing opening ceremony videos and stuff, and I just wanted to take it to the next level and do some storytelling.
Right.
So they're like, okay, here you go. You can be in charge of this TV show. So 2016 was like the most epic year ever. We assembled this crew. I had no idea how to make a TV show, how to deliver it to Fox, surround sound, all these technical details. But I was like, you know what? Let's just do it, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And ended up making it work. Made some amazing videos. I mean, TV shows. They were 44-minute shows, an hour long on TV, but 44 of actual content.
And when you started doing that, was that by far the longest video you'd ever put together at that point?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So I couldn't even go to all the races because it just took so much time to edit these videos now. And now we're talking serious deadlines because you have to submit these to the TV station or the Fox, headquarters and in so much time. And then we're trying to get like the last few races involved in these episodes. So I couldn't even go to all the races, but we had an amazing crew filming, sending me all the footage, and really enjoyed it. Like making these sports documentaries basically was where I wanted to go. So first season of that went great. And then in 2017, Feld was kind of going through some company-wide changes. So they also owned Ringling Brothers Circus. And this was when they were like getting rid of like the elephants and all this stuff. And it kind of cascaded down to every property they owned, which included Supercross. So our TV show was slated to go on for season 2. And so we started filming, and then at like the last minute, they're like, hey, we don't have the budget to do season 2 again. So I was like, well, now what? Like, I don't want to go back doing opening ceremonies. And so right then and there, I was just like, I don't know if I don't want to travel and just do this job I've been, started with. Like I just wanted to do something more storytelling and stuff. So I kind of limped through 2017. I went to a few races, but it just wasn't the same. And by this time I had my son Logan, and he was 3, and then Claire was on her way too. So she was born like that summer, and I was like, I got to be home. So
yeah,
really
grew up fast.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be on the road anymore. And so at the end of the 2017 season, I called him like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I got to be home. And if you would have told me that, 3 years earlier, you're going to leave Supercross, like, how? Why? But yeah, just want to be home, right? And so I still worked with them just on a per project basis. And it was actually pretty good gig because I was still go to a couple races here and there, and I still did a couple of TV shows for them after the fact and got paid, I feel like, fairly, because what I did for them as a salaried employee was just it was so much work, and I'm sure the hours per, what I was making was so little. So once I went on my own, they hired me as a contractor. It was like, okay, I can actually charge you what I think I should be getting. So it worked out, and we left on good terms. Like, I still text all the guys there, and but yeah, that opened up the door for, it's like, well, what can I do now? So that's how Luke Parmeter Productions started. So that was in June of 2017, basically, once the Supercross season ended.
And when you kind of had that vision to go off, do your own thing, was it like, hey, I want to get into more of that, stick with that storytelling side of things, but kind of for, obviously, went and kind of doing a lot of stuff with different businesses?
Yeah, that was kind of my thing, just like creative video storytelling is what I, put on my website. And I was really excited because, as cool as dirt bikes are, now I could work in any industry and apply what I learned with that motorsports mentality of the glitz and glamour, and apply that to these other industries that maybe aren't used to that feel, and just add everything I learned and just make it my own style, and yeah, make myself available to whoever wants to hire me, right? Ended up being a lot of industrial construction type companies, and even a few years later, Martin Machining called, right? And that's where we saw you there. So end up doing a lot of work for companies around Wisconsin and Minnesota. Red Bull hit me up and hired me to do a bunch. So that was like another dream job, basically. I remember getting an email. It said, so-and-so at redbull.com. I was like, what? This is awesome. So did a couple years, a bunch of events for them around the Midwest. So that was really fitting, I guess. Didn't have to travel too far. So, yeah, it just opened the door for all these other industries. And, yeah, I loved it. I loved the variety. Yeah, and I know some people are like, you left Supercross to, like, work with whatever, landscaping. It's like, yeah, it's cool. Like, it's a whole different for me. It's just, like, opens the door to this creative side that I can tap into. And because as cool as dirt bikes are, it does kind of get repetitive. Like, every year, it's the same thing. Like, biggest field ever, most stacked group of riders. You do the same kind of commercials. You kind of get into this routine where, well, now it's like, okay, well, we're a freelancer now. We can work with anybody we want now.
I imagine you're saying, like, when you get into that little routine, it probably almost gets hard to be creative. And yeah, you're okay, how can we change this up? What can we do here? Where it's now you're doing this different stuff in different taking this, applying it to different industries, and it's like, okay, well, hey, yeah, I know what I can apply over here, and it's something new and exciting.
Yeah, 100%. And I think seeing the excitement from the clients when they first see the video I sent, like, that was super amazing. Like, for me to see the reactions and honestly maybe make a bigger difference in, like, their world, because Supercross is a giant, thing. But if you work with a smaller company and you make them a video that converts, like, instantly, and they get more sales and more leads from it, like, that's almost just as satisfying for me to
making a huge impact, right?
Yeah, because you don't always maybe see that impact when you're at Supercross. Yeah, it's seeing maybe more eyeballs, but I don't know, when you hear that feedback from a company around here, it's like, oh yeah, we're really doing something to help them, and that's a really, really cool feeling.
Yeah, I can remember. I think it was quite a few years ago now that I had checked out, but I think you did one on a cranberry marsh, and it's like how cool you can make all that that marsh work and the harvest seem it's really bring out that kind of wow factor in it.
Yeah, and that was again like filming outside in the morning or at sunset when the lighting's perfect, and putting in that effort to make it look at its best possible shape. I love that aspect of filming, and that project was awesome. Filmed with a cranberry grower for a whole year, from basically from, let's say, winter all the way to the harvest in the fall. So and it was just down the street basically from where I live. So, you know, you could be selective about weather and you know, you're not stuck to like flying somewhere and we have to film today, but it's raining. It looks awful. So we could take our time with it. And man, that was a really cool project. That one's on YouTube, so anybody can watch that. I think it's hovering around 1 million views, so hopefully you can get to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, during COVID, it blew up. I think a lot of families were making their kids watch an educational video, and that one ended up being one of them.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So here's how a cranberry process is. So that's how that one worked out.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you have, like, so far that, you know, being on your own, do you have a favorite project that you've done?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'd have to think about that. I mean, honestly, the Cranberry Project is up there. Some of the Golden Eagle Log and Timber Home videos have been big hits, and seeing the impact on those videos has been awesome too. Man, I don't know. I mean, even I did one with Solaris, like our local internet and TV provider. I mean, that was a fun, very local project I did. It's funny, on that one, we're going to hire a narrator, but until you get like your script locked in, I usually read it myself, and just for like a scratch track, we call it, just remove it once it's locked in, then you hire the narrator, the professional guy. Well, they liked my voice in the video. So like, well, can't we just use your voice? I'm like, I guess technically you could, but I wasn't planning on it. But so they ended up running my voice in the commercial, and it ran on all the local TV stations and YouTube. So it's actually me, and I recorded on my iPhone, like headphones.
Really? Okay.
And it worked out. You know, there's some compression and stuff you do to make it sound better, but that was just filmed on my phone for the audio. So that was a fun project. But yeah, some of the Red Bull ones were fun. And some stuff I would, you know, get contracted on. Like I went to Red Bull Straight Rhythm in 2019, and just some of those events were really cool to be a part of. And yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of them. It's hard to narrow it down, but yeah, I don't know. Cranberry one for sure is up there though.
Sure. What you know, maybe let's say outside of Supercross, is that million views on that Cranberry March, is that the biggest video you have currently?
Well, some of the Golden Eagle videos are at like 4.5 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I suppose
that one, I guess on my own personal client. Well, yeah, the Golden Eagle stuff kind of blows up every once in a while.
Okay,
So yeah. Yep.
Okay. Now, and actually on the kind of the Golden Eagle topic too, and obviously, you know, you're involved with that, and I know you kind of do the podcast because it's the new home show, right?
Yeah.
That they do.
Yep.
Okay.
That's part of it. And yeah, I mean, luckily, well, not luckily, I think my dad is very in tune with what is going, like what works currently,
Sure.
where things are going, because he was big on Google AdWords back in 2000 and getting a website up and running. So he was early on that, early on like video stuff. Problem is I was so busy with Supercross because he always wanted to like hire me. I'm like, I don't have time to help you guys out. I'm sorry. So once I left Supercross, he was like, hey, you need some clients. We got all kinds of stuff we can do here. And so yeah, we just started making YouTube tours of new homes, started doing podcasts, all kinds of content, informational stuff, educational stuff, and really blew up their YouTube channel. I mean, they have like 270,000 subscribers now, and that's kind of their main form of marketing. So always busy with them. Always, you know, I do some traveling, going to some of these home tours, and like right now I'm working on a tour from Minnesota, and just, yeah, the homes, I mean, they make the best homes out there, you know, log and timber homes. So makes my job pretty easy to film it because it already looks good. So I don't have to work too hard to, you know, fake it or anything. These homes, you could film it on an iPhone and it looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So yeah, I love again, with the impact too, like with them, yeah, you hear from their clients and they're like, yeah, we watched this video, we fell in love with this house, and it makes such a difference. And like I said, that's kind of their main form of marketing is now video content, and it starts with YouTube, and then it, you know, short form content, podcast, audio. I mean, yeah, it just cascades down from there. So yeah, pretty fun to be involved with them and all the cool stuff they have going on.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, no, just gorgeous homes. Yeah, no, I love watching some of the videos and seeing just the things that they do and create. Yeah, I've always been a fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of, yeah. So on that note, like we're, from growing up in that world was, building homes, designing homes. Was that just kind of like, did that ever interest you at one point? Or did you ever think, hey, I'm going to follow in these footsteps? Or was it, no, hey, I kind of got my own thing I'm going to do?
I always loved being around it and loved drawing houses when I was younger. But I just think the opportunities I had right out of college, I just had to go and run with that.
Right.
And I don't think, because I remember talking to my dad after I graduated, I'm like, oh, what do you think I should do? He's like, well, you got some cool stuff going on right now. Like, I think you should take advantage of it. And that was even before the Supercross thing started. So once that kicked in, it was like, yeah, I just gotta do this. And maybe if I would have started working at Golden Eagle then, like I probably wouldn't have had, I know I wouldn't have had the knowledge base I have now and the skills and the experiences. So I think maybe it's worked out for a reason. Just applying everything I learned in those industries to their product now. I think it's a pretty good fit for sure.
Yeah. And I said, for you to be able to bring that impact of, that for their sales and marketing side of things. I mean, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. And they're like, everyone at Golden Eagle, everyone behind the scenes, they're so talented, so fun to work with. It's just fun showing up there and telling them, hey, we're going to be working on this video today. And so I want those people behind the scenes to get credit too, because it's not just the people on the YouTube tours. It's everybody. And, it's awesome to being around that environment. And yeah, they have some really cool houses that are getting built now. There's some couple big ones in Colorado and Wyoming that we're going to go film, I think maybe this summer. And so, yeah, it's always something cool going on. And yeah, I really love it. So yeah, check it out. Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes. Follow them on every social platform out there. It's worth it. Ton of content comes out every day.
Yeah. Now you and I were kind of talking, a bit before we started recording, kind of how you got kind of, hooked up with Dan Preston and, the Hardscape stuff. Kind of talk about, how you end up beating him, getting involved with that and kind of where things are kind of building and growing there.
Yeah. So 2017, I hear about this guy named Dan Preston of Preston Hardscape Design. And I didn't even know what hardscaping was, but he was working on the house that we were filming. And so as part of the whole start to finish of this build series, we included him, doing I just call it landscaping, but it's really hardscaping. So he does all the, the bricks, blocks, stones, and rocks, basically, is what we boiled it down to. And he's from Rapids, and come to find out, like, he's one of the best hardscapers in the whole nation, basically. He's, truly an artist. And so worked with him on this Golden Eagle project, and then that winter, he's like, hey, why don't we, can I hire you to do, like, my marketing next year? I'm like, yeah, I think what you're doing is, like, visually for me, again, new industry to kind of get into. The visuals of it would be super fun for me to film. So I ended up working with him for a couple summers, just filming start to finish of his builds, and kind of blew up his channel and his following. And as a result, all these contractors from all over the country start following him, and they start asking him questions like, hey, how do you design this? How do you build this? Like, what methods are you using to build these things? So him and I both were like, maybe we should start training people somehow. Like, we have all this video footage. What if we turned it into training content somehow and sold it somehow? I don't know. We weren't sure what to do with it, but it was like, yeah, we got to figure something out. I had met another person in another industry who has this membership site, and she teaches people how to do interior design.
Okay. And
she was telling me how it all works. And I was like, I feel like we could do this with Dan Preston's work. I could handle all the behind the scenes, all the video stuff. He's the guy on camera. I think we could make a membership site work. So we spent all winter making these tutorials. And then in June of 2022, we launched Hardscape Mentor. So it was it's an online training platform. We had maybe 40 videos when we started, but we just took all these projects that we had filmed, reformatted them into tutorials, and just put it behind like a membership site. And it kind of just started getting bigger and bigger. And we just started putting out all this content, and little by little we grew the group. And we weren't really sure the impact we were having, but it was just amazing to see and hear from all these contractors from all over the country saying, hey, thank you so much. Like I'm getting these jobs now because I learned the right way to build it. I learned how to design it different from the guy in town here. And so we're like, dude, I think we're onto something. So we just started putting more and more effort into this. And now on his projects, we were filming more for tutorials and not just for like these marketing videos. So these tutorials started getting very much more detailed and more in depth, and people liked it even more. So we just kept putting more and more time and energy into this. And now we've got, almost 1,000 people in our membership, and from all over the U.S., Canada, some international people. We go to some of these trade shows, and we have a booth set up, and we hear from all these people that are members, and it's so cool to have an impact in these businesses and in helping people grow. And so yeah, we're just full steam ahead on this new venture. It's almost 3.5 years already, but yeah, we just want to keep growing it and keep adding more content. We've got hundreds of videos in there right now, and I want to put 1,000 videos in there and just keep staying on the latest trends and all the cool things happening in the industry. So I knew nothing about membership sites and all that kind of behind the scenes before this, but again, just dove into it, and little by little just growing it up, and it's really exciting to me because it's different way to kind of think about the business model, and honestly, one of the coolest things is just the brand we've built around it. And again, applying what I've learned in Supercross, like we got to make this cool. I just want the brand to be cool at the end of the day. We know the product's good. We know the education's good, but I just want it to just look and feel like Under Armour or Nike or Red Bull. If they were doing this is what it would look like. And so it's really, really fun. It's almost like it's not even a job for the most part. It's just fun, how in a lot of the content we put out content each day, and just trying to get as much impact as we can. And yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So yeah, Hardscape Mentor. Yeah, no, I could imagine just definitely be a blast to be around. I know I've like I said, I've followed his work, and I remember it must have been in Tennessee, because it's like the helicopter landing pad, and it's got the stars in there with from Tennessee, and that was gorgeous. All the work is gorgeous, but I remember that was just a huge site, and that was pretty cool. And that's funny, because that homeowner has basically a membership business as well, and in a different industry. But even just talking to him and how just getting advice from him on what to do. So it was just this big culmination of things and people we've met, and just applying everything we knew to this new business. And I think that was July of 2022. So we kind of helped launch Hardscape Mentor, because we used all that helicopter footage and stuff because no one's ever done that. We rented a helicopter and landed it on the patio, and just over the top, but that's what we had to do. So was it actually meant to be a helicopter landing pad, or you just do it for the video? It was just for the video, but it just throughout the build they kept calling it a what do you call it? TriStar helipad or whatever. Okay. It's mainly like a turnaround for like vehicles that drive down to the lake, like from the top of the house. Okay. So it's just like a turnaround spot, but gotcha. But it just looked like, it's got a, and it's we can land a helicopter here. You can land a helicopter here. Yeah. Why not? So yeah, they're there it landed. So yeah, that was all time for sure.
Where did you just go online to see where you could rent a helicopter to do it?
Yeah, and forget what it was by the whatever Smoky Mountains or whatever. So there's like helicopter tours and stuff.
Okay, sure.
So we just said, hey, can we just have you come out to this address and land, and we're gonna film some stuff and then just take off and leave? And he's like, yeah, sure. So it was that simple.
I imagine that's where, probably some of that Supercross, style mindset. I imagine, doing something like that is exactly where that kind of comes into play, and
yeah, 100%.
Just doing something huge.
Yeah. And even when we go to these trade shows, every booth looks the same. You walk down the aisles, they all have the same look. They're boring. And I was like, well, if you go to a Supercross, you go in the pits or a NASCAR or whatever, like the pit activations, they're awesome. They have lights,
and the fan
music.
engagement.
Yeah. So I said, we're going to make our booth look like it belongs at a Supercross track. And that's what we did. And it felt like we hosted a party because all our members were coming through and just hanging out while these booths beside us are just like, no one's there. I felt bad because like all these people from our membership were just hanging out in our booth, and it just spread it out and crowded into every other booth around us. But again, just that mindset of like, well, we got to be different. We got to do something. So we had the first 2 years, we had this 20 by 10 video board as basically our backdrop, and we had videos playing on it and lighting and all this stuff. It just felt like Supercross basically. So yeah, there's another example of it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I imagine it's an industry you never probably thought you'd find yourself being a part of. No,
like I said, I didn't even know what hardscaping was, but yeah, here we are. We got the biggest training platform out there, and probably the strongest brand. I mean, it's super fun, and yeah, really enjoy being in this industry that I didn't even know was what it was 5 years ago. Sure, yeah.
Now, I know some of the stuff that you've been doing kind of with, mountain biking and out here at Standing Rocks.
Yeah.
Did you kind of pick up and get into that because you're no longer dirt biking in your life? So it's like, well, hey, I'm going to, with age, I'm going to ditch the motor and.
Yeah, basically. Well, being around Supercross too, all the guys were training on bicycles.
Okay.
So at first I got into road biking because that was probably the easiest, just to get on a bike and leave your house and go. I was just trying to stay in shape, basically. That's what I was. And then I was like, well, I like this, And I grew up on BMX bikes, so I always loved being on two wheels, with or without a motor. So I got more into road biking, and then I was like, there's so many distracted drivers out there. It's kind of sketchy to be on the road, so maybe I should go in the woods where there's no traffic. So got a mountain bike in like 2016 and really fell in love with that. And that felt like motocross, just a little slower, a little quieter, a little safer maybe. Foreshadow there. And yeah, just started getting into cross-country racing. And, getting into that was such an eye-opening experience too, because I think my skill set was there, but it's the endurance side that is really, really tough. And you learn that most guys just spend their time on a road bike, getting in those base miles and that base training, and their cardio systems are just through the roof. And once they get to a mountain bike race, it's more about that and less about maybe your skills.
Okay.
So I had to learn that, the hard way. So I could only put in so much time, and I just from racing dirt bikes, I kind of knew where I was. I'm older too. I'm in my 30s, so when I started this, so it was more like, okay, I want to do as best I can with the time I have, because I got kids, whatever. Like it's not about me anymore. So get in as many rides as I can. But yeah, just got into cross country mountain bike racing, and love going over to Standing Rocks, which is just down the street basically. Spent a ton of time there. They ended up having a enduro race there the last 2 years, I think, 2 or 3 years, and really got into that side of it too. Just a little more, a little more gnarly, I guess, racing. They set up, it's the opposite of hill climbing. You race down the hill as fast as you can rather than up. So, yeah, just started focusing more and more on that. And my son was getting into more mountain biking too. I tried to get him into cross country, but
okay.
I don't think I would have liked it at that age either, because it's a grind, and you gotta just be a certain type, and maybe someday he will, and I don't want to push it on him, but you really gotta like learn how to suffer, I guess, and enjoy. And I do love that. I love, when your heart rate's through the roof and your body's telling you to stop, and you just, shut up, I'm going to keep going. That I'm really into that kind of thing, and so obviously cross-country racing is a lot of that, but it just takes so much time to get to the peak of that, peak of the, spear, like I said earlier. So I think I won maybe 1 or 2 races cross-country racing, and, not even the best category, because the guys that are winning category 1, category 2, like it is super competitive, and I never really got to that point. Maybe someday I will, in the old guy classes, but just got into mountain biking like crazy the last 5 years, basically. So, yeah, and that's why, we brought that up earlier. I think it was like maybe end of July. You're like, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Let's wait until after this mountain bike race, because I'm training like every day, and I'll probably have more to talk about after the race. And definitely did. But so race went really well. No major crashes or anything. My son did awesome. He got second, and what did he get, second or I don't know. He was on the podium in his age.
That's awesome.
In the youth class, I got second in my age group, and I raced expert, and I was 14th out of 55. So I'm a little bit of the older guy, but I was still competitive and just felt really good there. And the week after the race, I went back for like my normal weekly ride, and go up to top of one of the jump lines. Then I had done this jump line probably 30 times in the last month, so I was pretty dialed in. Well, go down. It was right when I got there too, so barely warmed up, but I had done it so many times it was no big deal. So this jump, I think there's 7 jump combinations, right in a row, and so I hit the first 2, and if you hit the first 2, it sets you up perfectly for the rest of them. And on the third jump, they call it like a lily pad, basically. So it's like a step on to a tabletop, and then a step off, and then it's more of a step down onto another jump. And if you come up short, you case the crap out of it. So you have to like launch off of the step off to get enough clearance to hit the downside of that jump. So I don't know what happened. I hit the step on, step off, and I had like no speed coming off it. And it happened so quick. So I case this jump with my front tire and just smash into that jump on the top of it. You should be on the downside of it. Flip over the bars, roll down the hill. My bike flies off into the woods, and I'm sitting there on my stomach, and I'm just like, what just happened? Try to wiggle my toes. Could wiggle my toes. I'm like, okay, that's good. Try to move my leg, move my right leg, and then I could move my leg, but it just wasn't moving right. And it's like, oh, dude, something's not right. This is not good. And I thought I broke my femur. I was like, because it just felt like it was my upper leg.
Okay.
And I was like, I think I snapped my femur. I'm like afraid to look, and I'm in such a weird position. I'm on my stomach, and luckily my phone was in my pocket, and I could get to my phone. So
and not broken.
Yeah. Or a lot of people put their phone on their bike. I mean, that thing would have been launched into the woods 50 feet away. And I ride by myself pretty much every time, but so no one was with me. But luckily I had my phone, so I was like, I'm gonna call my wife quick. She's in the medical field, so I was like, I gotta let her know, like, this ain't good. I'm probably gonna need an ambulance. So I tried calling her. The call doesn't go through. And that weekend, Verizon had a bunch of issues, like their network was down, basically. So I'm like, this ain't good. So I go to the keypad, and I'm like, well, I've never done this before. 911 call. Hope this works. And luckily the call went through. And tell them, hey, I'm at Standing Rocks. I think I snapped my femur. I'm going to need an ambulance here right away. And they're like, okay, we'll get someone out there as soon as we can. And, obviously the pain's getting worse and worse. And luckily I knew exactly where I was, and I explained to them how to get there, because I was actually by the north side. There's a separate entrance, and there's, just anywhere in that place, it would be hard to explain.
Sure, imagine, you're down trails. And
Exactly. So luckily I had been there hundreds of times, and I could tell them exactly where to go. So I told them which entrance to go into and which double trail to go into, and told them exactly where I was. So that was good. And they were like, I could hear them in the background. They were like, yeah, we might send a helicopter out there. I'm like, what? Like, no. Ambulance would probably work. So it was kind of getting serious at that point. I'm like, no, we don't need a helicopter. I don't even know where you'd land out here.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the middle of the woods here. So yeah. I'm stay on the line with them, and I think it took them about 20 minutes to get there. 2 guys came down on foot and found me, and then 2 more guys were on a 6-wheeler getting that unloaded, and they drove that down. And but in the meantime, 2 guys had come down on their bikes on the trails, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" I'm just like, "No, I'm not." It's like, I'm on the phone 911, and I'm like, "You need to go up to the parking lot and tell them how to get down here in case they can't find their way." 20, 30 minutes go by, and I was just dreading getting rolled over onto this backboard.
Sure.
I was like, my femur's going to pop through my skin or something. So the guy's like, all right, this is going to hurt. So we're going to count to 3 and we're going to do it. And rolled, count to 3. And I just remember screaming out as loud as I could, just, oh. And then I'm like, okay, made it through. And so then I think there was like 6 guys that carried me up out of there off the trail, and then loaded me into the back of the side-by-side. And I was just super dreading that ride back up the hill. I'm like, this is not going to feel good bouncing around.
Yeah.
They gave me some kind of pain meds right there. I don't know what it was. I think it helped a little bit because the ride actually felt pretty smooth. And then, get me in the ambulance, get to the hospital and point here. And x-rays are like, yeah, you separated your hip, like the head of your femur punched through your hip socket. And I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. So in doing so, like the acetabulum bone, which is like your hip socket, busted through. So they're like, well, if it was just a hip dislocation, we could just pop it in and you'd probably go home tonight. But because you broke the hip socket, we're going to have surgery. So they said, well, we're not going to do it here. We're going to send you up to Wausau. So, they shipped me up to Wausau. And then, they say, this is a pretty serious injury. You're going to be non-weight bearing for 8 weeks probably.
No kidding.
So then, so this was all Monday. And then Wednesday morning I had my surgery, and it went well. And I think I went home late Thursday. And, just had this major crash out of nowhere. And then, recovery is going fine. I just had this crazy pain in my foot the whole time, this nerve pain or whatever it was. And that was the worst part of this whole thing. And then I would say at like week 10 or so, my foot was like swollen big time on the same side. Like my calf and my ankle were just like getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, this is weird. This doesn't feel right.
No kidding, yeah.
So my wife's like, well, it's probably not a blood clot because you usually see like a red painful spot. I don't know. Let's go in and you can get a blood test done quick, see if it's positive. So Friday morning, go in, blood test comes back positive for blood clots. Then they do an ultrasound in my leg, and they're like, ooh, yeah, you've got, like, your whole leg is clotted up. Like, how did that happen? It's like I was on so much Advil. It was either Advil or whatever one that is kind of thins your blood out. I was taking a bunch of that. How did my leg blood get clotted up? And I was moving around. I was, wasn't just
doing
sitting
all
there
the things,
24 hours a day. So they're like, just out of precaution, why don't we get a CT scan of your lungs, your upper body, just to make sure there's no clotting up there? So I still can't drive. So I get a ride over from my sister-in-law to Point. They do a CT scan. Luckily, I could get in and get a CT scan done right away. So get the scan done. Like 2 minutes later, I'm waiting in the lobby, and Jake Malooly, my primary, calls me, and he's like, "Are you still at the hospital there?" I'm like, "Yep." He's like, "Can you walk over to the ER, because it's just down the hall, and check in and tell them that you've got a pulmonary embolism, huge blood clot in your right lung, basically, because you're going to have to get seen for this." I'm like, "What?" Like, I could not believe it.
Did you feel like short of breath or anything?
I mean, not really. A little bit that morning, but I felt like,
hard to tell kind of thing.
Yeah, because I hadn't been moving much, so my heart rate was kind of spiking up a little bit, just walking around more than normal, but nothing. There was no pain or anything. But he's like, "This is a very serious clot you have." Like, he said, like 80% of your lung on the right side is blocked. I'm just like, are you kidding me? So get checked in. They get me on blood thinners right away, and they're saying, "You're going to have to probably get this taken out, and we're not going to do it here." So ship me back up to Wausau again. Guy in the ambulance recognized me from a month earlier. Actually, yeah, it was like 5 weeks after surgery. So same guy that took me from the first trip, and get to Wausau, and they're like, didn't really give me a straight answer as to what they were going to do. So, and that the whole time I'm just like, this thing better not separate and go to my head, my heart, and like, this is pretty serious.
Yeah. Yeah. At that point, you're like, get this out of me.
Yeah. So I'm stressed out, and how do you sleep when this thing is in there? And how long was it in there too? I mean, it wasn't just this little. I mean, it sounded pretty bad. So this whole time I'm just wondering, like, how long was I dealing with this?
Sure. Right.
So you think all these, all these things go through your head. And so barely sleep that night. Next morning, finally meet with the doctor, and he's like, "Hey, we gotta go in and get this out of there. Like, we're not going to rely on blood thinners to dissolve this thing. We have to go in and get that out." And I was, I didn't even want to look up how they do all this stuff, because I just didn't want to get stressed out over surgery or whatever the heck. How do they go in there, right? But after talking to him, felt much better. And he's like, basically, we're going to go in, I think it was all my medical friends listening, I'm sorry, I'm screwing this up, but one of the major veins or arteries up by your groin, they go in, and they go through your heart and basically suck out the clot. So it runs through the vein, goes out like all the way through your heart, and then they suck out the clot. And I was like, "Am I going to be like out for this surgery?" And they're like, "No, you'll be comfortable, but if we need you to like breathe in harder or whatever, like you kind of have to be aware of what's going on." They're like, "You're not going to feel anything." So,
oh gosh, no kidding. I wouldn't.
Yeah. So, yeah, and they didn't even call it a surgery; it's a procedure. So I was like, "Okay, that sounds better." But yeah, I went in, and it took probably 45 minutes, and I didn't even know they were doing it as I was laying there. At first they're like, "Yeah, it's just like a colonoscopy. Like, that's the kind of med or sedation you'll be under." I'm like, "Don't people like, aren't they out for that?"
Yeah.
So I was kind of like misled. I was like, "What? I don't know what is going on here." Not that I've ever had one, but I wasn't sure what I was in for. But the procedure itself went pretty smoothly, and so we get done with the procedure, and they're like, "All right, it looks good. Do you want to see the clot that we removed?" I'm like, "Sure." So they have this 8.5 by 11 paper diagram of your lungs, basically. And I was expecting like a kernel of corn or something. I don't know, like something.
Yeah, how big could it get? You know,
that's why I picture a clot. So I look, and this thing was like 3.5 inches, just this huge wad, and they had it overlaid where it was in my actual lungs, and it was blocking so many parts of my lungs. It was unbelievable. Like,
unbelievable is right.
Could not believe that was in there, and I was still breathing with like basically no major, signs of it. So once I saw that, I was just, yeah, it was truly unbelievable seeing that there, and just not exactly what I expected at all. I mean, it was very thankful we got that thing out of there as soon as we could.
Yeah, glad you went in, glad you found it, and glad that all
Yeah.
went successful. You know.
Yeah, and yeah, thankful for Jake and my wife and just everybody at Aspires acting quick to like get this thing, get the scan, get everything dialed in, because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's crazy to think you never hear good things about a clot, you know, like
Right.
yeah. So just you know, breaking bones is one thing, but dealing with something like that was just a whole different animal. So yeah,
For sure.
got that out. So I got to be on blood thinners for the next 5 months or so, and stuff in the leg is dissolving, and we got to go and check that out in a couple weeks and make sure that's all healing up good. And so yeah, I think around April I'll be cleared from blood thinners, and it should be right when things are warming up outside. So I don't know what capacity I'll be riding bikes or anything, but definitely people ask me, oh, so you're done biking now? I'm like, I'm not going to decide anything yet. I know I'm going to keep riding. I'm probably not going to hit the jumps. Don't really have a desire to right now. Maybe if they change it, I will. But yeah, I just really, that's been such a conversational topic with everybody too. It's like, oh yeah, you're done with all this. So like, no, there's two ways to look at it. Like, I'm 38 right now. I could be like, wow, you're 38 years old. Like, you're old. Like, you should be done with all this stuff. Or, hey, I'm only 38. I still have a lot of life left, and I don't want to just shut off bikes completely. And, you know, I just think it'd be silly to jump to any decisions like that. So I still want to be on my mountain bike, you know, whether it's competitively or just for fun, casual, slow and safe. Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, you could hurt yourself walking on the snow outside. Like,
right.
It doesn't matter what. And I don't want to live my life afraid. Obviously we got to be smart about things, but yeah, it's been a wild ride the last 3 months or whatever it's been. I've been so injury free my whole life. So to have something like this happen, it was so just out of the blue, I guess, unexpected. And
you're right.
And here we are. So just thinking about the clotting, especially too, it's like, well, what could I have done to prevent this? I guess maybe I could have moved around more, or you know, watching Travis Pastrana's YouTube channel, he had a whole video about basically every one of his major injuries, and he talks about
he's had a few.
Yeah, just a couple. Yeah, it's a really, really interesting video, but he talks about what actually helps with recovery, and because he's been through everything, so
yeah,
he's got a pretty good knowledge base of hey, this works, this doesn't work, don't do this. So he said one thing he said was, like, if it's not getting blood, it's not healing. So basically, he does a lot of cold plunges, hot, tub, hot water into cold water, and or just moving around, especially after surgery. Just whatever movement you can do that you're allowed to, take advantage of that. Because like you said, if I wasn't moving enough and there was not enough blood flow going there, like, maybe those clots could have been prevented. So, I just think of things like that. Just going through this, but yeah, it's like I said, been a wild ride, and definitely had more to talk about. Like I said,
yeah,
just not what I was expecting when you first reached out to me. But yeah, it was crazy. It's funny too, because it was happened on Labor Day, so September 1st. That's my wife and I's anniversary, and
so it happened on your anniversary.
Happened on the anniversary, and I was just gonna go for a quick ride, and I think we were gonna go out to eat that night. And we're always just like, I should have just stayed home. We should have just went out to eat early that day. Should have skipped the ride. Then none of this would have happened. But no, it's definitely won't forget this year anniversary. So
yeah. No, yeah, I imagine the when you got the racer in your blood, you'll want to get back on the bike to some capacity, and as you keep healing up more and more, you'll find your limit again.
Yeah, and I did go for a easy ride around Lake Wazicha when the surgeon cleared me, and it was just super easy. Was going 2 miles an hour. But it's
probably just good for your mind again. Like, I'm just going to get back on the bike.
And it was like the last good day of fall, one of those nice warm days. And I was like, I just want to get out there and do this before winter. So yeah, now I'm, doing PT, doing everything they're telling me to do, and doing a lot of stationary bike stuff, and just trying to stay active and not slow down. I just, like I said, you just got to keep moving. I think that's the best way to heal. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I kind of on a more positive light of things, throughout all the stuff you've done video wise with whether it's Supercross or any of your customers or Golden Eagle, if you had to pick a biggest accomplishment so far, just a project you've just been incredibly proud of, what's one that really stands out to you? Because there's obviously been quite a few things that are just like, wow.
Yeah, I think especially early on when we did the sports documentary show, it was called Chasing the Dream, and super proud of just what I was able to do, especially with the team the amazing team we had. Just, I think everybody looks back at 2016 as just such a cool year. And for me to just see my name on cable TV, like produced by Luke Parmeter, it was like, wow, this is awesome, And I'm such a fan of the Supercross that, the fan in me was like, this is awesome, So just seeing it from that perspective, but also just the professional side. So I would say definitely Chasing the Dream in 2016 was amazing, especially, like I said, delivering it to Fox and just dealing with there's so many technical details that go into delivering a show. You have to have all the timing set up for the commercial breaks. So you have to have like that match the video that you send them. There has to be certain audio channels baked in and just insane amount of detail that goes, not even just storytelling, but then the actual formatting this for TV was such a huge thing. So just to be able to get through that was awesome. And I would say, everything we're doing with Hardscape Mentor is awesome, and just seeing the feedback and the reviews and how we're helping businesses is cool. And I would say, honestly, all the Golden Eagle stuff, just growing up with that, every day as a kid, and showcasing them in their best light and showing off their home tours, and even hearing testimonials from their customers and just sharing to the world what they all do. There's nothing better than that. So
yeah,
I would pick those three. Maybe it's hard to pick.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Especially
as
your career changes, your goals and just certain things mean more. And yeah, I think those three are probably the big ones for sure.
Gotcha. Do you plan on having you said your son's been into racing and all? Do you think any hill climbing is in the future for anyone?
Well, he's just riding dirt bikes for fun. I don't know if we'll end up doing any racing. Probably not. He's super into, all the like baseball during the summer, and then football in the fall. It's like go. If he wants to, we'll definitely do it, but I think we'll just kind of keep it casual and fun. Just riding at home. My dad still rides all the time, and
okay,
so
awesome.
So yeah, he gets to ride with grandpa, which is not too many kids can say that.
Right. So
that's really cool. And we'll probably still do some mountain bike racing. And I just got to figure out what my daughter wants to do. So she doesn't have any interest in dirt bikes yet, so I'm hoping she will. Yeah, she's still pretty young, but yeah, I think whatever they're into, I'm supportive of it, and yeah, whether it's dirt bikes or baseball or whatever, we'll be behind them 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. When it comes to the doing everything with video and editing, if you had to, I'm sorry for making you pick so many favorites here, but I find it interesting. What if you had to pick a favorite part of the process? Is it videoing or is it editing when you're getting closer to that final product? If you had to pick the part that's the most enjoyable for you to do?
Oh, that's a really good question, because it's like you can't have one without the other.
Right.
For me, some guys can specialize in one or the other, but I honestly love I love it when I get wrapped with shooting and I know we got some banger content.
Like, oh man, that's a good shot.
Yeah. So I love it when I actually get back to the office and I start going through the footage. So maybe the editing side is more enjoyable, but you have to have a really good shoot to make that fun. Because if you don't, then it sucks. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I wish I didn't waffle so much on the answer, but
nope, that's fair too.
Yeah, I think it's a combo of both, honestly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. If there's anything we haven't, talked about or touched on at all that you have kind of that you can speak on, anything in the near future you got going on, you're like, man, I'm really pumped about this that I can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, just with Hardscapementor, we've got our own studio space basically now, and not too many people have seen it or been there, but I think that's really going to blow up the industry even more. And it's kind of like the fantasy factory for hardscaping, and that's going to be the next phase for that company, and just being able to produce content all year round and not rely on warm weather and just sunny days. So we're pretty excited about that whole venture. And with Golden Eagle, I mean, like I said, there's so many cool projects in the works with them, and I'm really excited to help them grow. And I think between those two, it's been fun, and I'm excited where everything's going for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be cool to keep tabs on it, and actually, kind of on that note, where are all the things and places where people can kind of see everything that you're doing and putting out there?
Yeah, so I mean, lukeparmeterproductions on Instagram. I don't post too much on my own because I think I just post so much for or create content for other companies that I don't do a super good job of posting stuff that I'm working on. But you can follow me, mainly on Instagram, and then follow Hardscapementor, all the social channels, Golden Eagle Log and Timber Homes, especially on YouTube. And any videos that you see coming out of any of those platforms, I'm the guy behind it. And it's been fun, and all kinds of stuff coming out from those. So yeah, those are the three ones I would say to go follow for sure.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I hope everyone that has any interest in any of those things goes and checks them out. I tell you, I definitely love just I got nothing. I'm not a big TV watcher. If I want to just, I just want to relax and just kind of watch something cool. It's so interesting to kick on a Golden Eagle Log Home video and just like, man, look at that house. It's pretty cool, and just kind of relaxing almost just to sit and watch it. Yeah.
No, that's what it's all about too. And we try to just make it so you can just, not a short video. We just want you to be able to watch it on your smart TV and learn some stuff and then have some entertainment too. So yeah, it's cool, very cool to hear. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, Luke, no, this has been awesome, and it's been great to, like I said, I've known you a little bit, but I've, I had a lot of questions. It's just on all the things you're involved with and have been involved with, and it's been great to hear about all this, and appreciate making the time to come and do this.
Yeah, I wish we could have done it earlier, like I said, but I had a few things going on.
Yeah, no, it all worked out good. All worked out fine.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I was really looking forward to this, and stoked we're finally here, and hopefully everyone enjoys it, and super thankful. So appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they will. Right.
Yeah,
thanks,
cool.
Luke. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening in to Speed and Grease. If you're a returning listener, I appreciate you tuning into another episode. And if it was your first time tuning into the show, I hope you enjoyed it and want to keep coming back for more. And if you haven't already, make sure you head on over to Facebook, Instagram, like and follow us on one of those platforms wherever you prefer, even on X as well. And if you watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, make sure you head on over to YouTube, subscribe to our channel there to stay up to date on everything. And also, if you want, give us a rating and review over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts as well. Thank you again for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you in the next one.